So my evaporative cooler, I found out that it was not performing nearly as well this summer, and I realized that it was because it had become dirty and it hadn't become as breathable. This is coarse wool, coarse wool, coarse wool. This front wall is medium fine wool, not nearly as breathable, so it's not nearly as capable of evaporating off the moisture from the inside and drawing the heat out with it. So you're gonna have to wash these at least once a year in order to maintain their highest efficiency of use, and you're gonna have to make them out of coarse wool. I think I'm gonna replace that front panel. The back panel is also medium fine wool. So yeah, you need the coarsest wool possible for these to work their magic, their off-grid magic. Apparently you have to do the same thing with zeer pots, the evaporative coolers called zeer pots. They're made out of clay pots that are nested and wetted in between in order to create the evaporative cooler effect. And those apparently you have to also scrub the outsides of them rather regularly in order to get the dust that accumulates on the side of them. You gotta keep that clean so that they continue to breathe. But even those, the dust layers will eventually get embedded into the side of the clay pots, and they'll actually work less and less, but you can't clean them and get them back to original operating efficiency, like I think that I will be able to do the felted wool if I use all coarse wool, where the dirt that got in is able to get out again, and also if I soak it overnight in warm soapy water. So I'm going to take off this whole panel, and put the coarse wool in, and then I'm going to take more of my sheep's coarse wool and put it over the entire thing so that there's a gap in between, that I can squirt just the nozzle of the squirt bottle on mist setting and just go along the edge all the way around, and it'll be like that. Because right now what happens is I gotta squirt around at best, squirt around and move it, squirting around so that it doesn't just trickle down to the bottom and barely get wet up here on top. I'm trying to saturate the inside of the wool as much as possible without having to remove the contents. So if I just had like a little space in between that I could direct the water, and it would shoot up against the walls, and it would be concentrated against the walls, and then what didn't stick to the walls would would be slowed down by this, and it would just absorb a lot slower than what happens now. Is it trickles down and bumps over this and then drips onto the ground. I tried to create this to catch those drips, and it's not enough, so I'm going to put another layer around it, and I think that would be even better. And I can load it up with a lot more wetness a lot quicker, and because you have to wet this down 3 times a day on 100-degree temperatures, and you have every reason to try to efficientize it.